with another self-driving car. Who's at fault, and who now pays the insurance premiums and all of that. That is exactly the cutting edge that we're at, and I don't think we've answered those questions yet.
So one more. If I have an algorithm, right, and it's mine, do I own the output even though the source data is not mine?
So you mean, so if you created one for your home, or you mean if you're in business, you've written an algorithm, you've now fed someone else's data into it to come up with a recommendation?
Well, if I'm a smart Silicon Valley kid, or
Okay.
if I have a company and I come up with my own algorithm,
Right?
and then I didn't use my source data,
Right.
it's not mine. Who owns the output?
Well, it depends on the data that you're putting into it, right?
Because like it can be like all three scenarios, yeah. So if you took the data that is legally
Publicly available.
yeah, publicly available, of course it's yours depending on the license of the data that is actually there. But if your algorithm, for example, is working on the data that is with the disclaimer, you can use it, but actually you are not owning it, and actually output of the data is also legally constrained by the licensing that it has. So then of course you're not owning it fully. So I would say it depends on the particular situation. So are you talking about the use case, for example, you have your car and you're actually getting the data from the source that you're generating, or you are talking about, okay, I have took the data set available somewhere on some terms? And
I'm curious about both scenarios.
So, of course, there is no answer to that because there is no model right now. Yeah, so everybody is talking about, for example, car as a service. Yeah, so I own the Tesla. I go to the work and I turn on the switch, and the car, instead of like sitting for 8 hours in the parking lot, is actually earning money. Yeah. In this model, I will actually not buy the car. Yeah, so I will actually get the car. I will have probably free offers. So either I have the full exclusive access to it, or I'm saying like car must be mine in traffic hours. So when I'm going to the job and I'm going back, and then company can actually use it in the time that I'm in the office, and I will actually have to pay extra for all the hours I'm not using it. Or I'm trying to use it every time it's available, but actually if there is a higher bid on that, they will take the car. Yeah. So everybody is talking about like what will be the future model, and if the company is actually owning the car. So if Tesla is owning the car and everything that is generating and how it's using, you are only renting it. Yeah. So it's like taking the car from the renting company. If you have actually bought your own car, augmented it even, and so on, there is a different story. So like, I don't think there can be any answer right now, because like this is a big unknown right now. Also, other aspect is like you have developed your algorithm, and then the question is what is there is some output of this data, yeah. And Steven already told like current algorithms are black boxes, yeah. So you cannot audit them right now. And for example, in states, there was I believe in Wisconsin or in 2015 or don't count me on it, but there is a model when somebody did a crime, then there is a model, there is algorithm that is actually saying like how probable you are to do the crime again. Yeah? And somebody has a suspicion that is actually not biased. Yeah? So there is a problem that actually a lot of people from skin color is actually
racial profile.
Racial profile is actually the highest element in the scoring process, yeah. And the problem is they came to the court and says like, why this lady that actually a kid took the bike and was running on the I don't know on the street and just left it somewhere, got the .8, and somebody that actually had the history of 2 armed robberies and was caught by shoplifting for, I don't know, $100 or something like this, got the score 3, yeah? And they said like, okay, show how the algorithm is working, yeah? And they said like, no, this is our property. We will not show actually, because this is company property, we will not show what the algorithm is, but actually people's lives depend on that, because she with the score 8 was not able to get a job, decent job, yeah, and actually they were able to show that this malfunctioning by taking the outputs. Yeah? So they actually showed that, like, in most similar cases, the value is actually pre-computed and the model was built by artificial intelligence, but they did not know how it's making the decisions. And this is a big problem because, for example, if I will develop the algorithm that helps hiring the people, and I'm saying, like, those are the candidates that I'm really happy with, and this is okay, and those I don't want to see in the future. And the chances are that the algorithm, for example, will find out that in the pattern of your behavior, he's actually able to predict, and we know there are algorithms right now that are able to predict that you will have the depression before you will actually see the symptoms. Yeah, and you will have no idea that they're actually taking it into consideration. You have the algorithm that is actually looking at the profile of the users that are logging into the system and sharing the data so they can be chosen. And somebody says, like, okay, hire them. And nobody is able to say, like, why I was not hired, yeah? And then you have clearly the problem that you are not able to see if your algorithm is aligned with the guidance, for example, for the discrimination or something like this. Yeah, you can see the statistics that are proving something is going wrong, but you cannot say right now, like, why the decision is done exactly. And this becomes, like, bigger and bigger problem. Yeah, so that's why I think machine will not switch right now into making a lot of decisions. It will be still augmentation. Yeah, so it gives you feedback and show you, like, I think you have actually not think about this part. So have a look, yeah. So for example, if pathologist is looking at the scan, yeah, he sees, like, on a red spots and he can see, like, I did not think about that. It's like, yeah, this is actually good, yeah, but it's that not machine made the decision for the treatment, yeah. It helped here. So I think this is the area that we are going to see in the following years, that the machines are, like, supporting humans.
Augmenting. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Paul?
Yeah, I would just add to it that the world is changing very quickly and very intensely, and a lot of those answers are not yet being defined. So it's kind of hard to say who's going to be responsible for what and where this responsibility lies, right? What all this machine learning stuff does well is optimize things, recognizes patterns, predicts the future. It does this very well. Now, how this is going to be used, I think it's up to us humans to decide what we're going to do with that. And there's a lot of, like, moral and ethical questions that we will need to answer. So a lot of these questions are not answered yet.
Yeah, I think it can come down to, and I'm hoping this is how it will work, is there's going to be a decision that each of you will make. Let's just assume, take out of your business life into your personal life. And so take a connected fridge, right? So I could see a model in the future where you don't buy the fridge. You take the fridge home, you load it with food, but you, in your agreement to take a fridge home for free, accepted that they will collect the data of what's in it. And every time you fill it, and it will take that data, it'll anonymize it, but it'll aggregate it, and then it'll sell that information to retailers that will want to know, what is the average, purchase and all. I mean, you can imagine how much they would pay for that kind of information. Now, it's up to you on whether you want to give them permission to have that data, or you can turn that option off and say, I don't want you to know what's in my fridge. And that's up to you. Now, take that one step further, and imagine you have an insurance policy, and it knows that you've got, a cholesterol issue. And they're writing you a policy here. And it also knows, because it's now bought the data out of your fridge, you've got a gallon of Haagen-Dazs in there. Well, okay, now you've got a really interesting dynamic of you've let them collect the data on you, and now you've got, this, in a sense, sharing of it, and maybe you don't want them to know that. Maybe it's not even your ice cream. Maybe you're not even eating it. But, so you can think of all of these permutations of whose data is it, who gave permission, who didn't, who owns it going in, who owns it coming out. And I'll tell you, that's partly why the space is so exciting, but you know, there are a lot of decisions that still have to be made.
Regarding what you said, we were doing a pilot in US with Amazon with this predictive food ordering. So there was a fridge with a camera and applications inside, and customers, they didn't even order some simple food like, I don't know, milk, butter, and others. It was predictive when you average how much time do you need, for example, to drink milk from your fridge, and then there was an automatic delivery to your home. So actually the consumer didn't even know when the food was coming. It was coming automatically. So that's one of the next steps.
If that's something you want to enable, right. But again, it's up to you to make that decision.
But you have to be careful.
Yes.
Yeah, I can give another example. You can use machine learning to maximize the profit. You can use machine learning to maximize the profit, but also, for example, that would be one way of doing that. But also, you can use it to lower the costs. Now, who is going to make decision in which